She's so captivating, so motivating. This is life changing, Dr. Angela Boyd. She's an amen, hallelujah. You have authority, a power that is given. I'm giving these gems, use it as ammunition. Open your heart, I hope that you listen. Empowerment, empowerment with Dr. Angela Boyd. With Dr. Angela Boyd, she's heaven sent. Empowerment with Dr. Angela Boyd. With Dr. Angela Boyd.
Well, good afternoon. I'm sorry, it is evening. How's everyone doing on this evening? So excited that you all have decided to join us for another segment. This is segment 5, month number 3, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. 5 representing grace. God has certainly given us grace for empowerment with Dr. Angie. It is because of you that we continue to come on the first and the third Tuesday of every month. We're always excited because we know that there is something that you're going to hear, something that you're going to receive, and something that the Lord is going to say that's going to push you to your next. And of course, tonight is no different from any other first and third Tuesday of the month. You guys know that we're on 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Facebook Live and YouTube. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to text someone, email them, call them on another phone because you're using your phone right now to tune in to Empowerment with Dr. Angie. There is power in the word. And on tonight, like no other, there is something that I want to share with you that the Lord has downloaded in me so that you can go to the next step. You can move a little bit further in your purpose. You can still experience the new thing that has your name on it. So again, welcome to the 5th segment, the 3rd month of empowerment with Dr. Angie. Again, I always say you are a prophetic word that has come into fruition. Many of you have been spoken powerful words, and sometimes we rush, sometimes we lie dormant, sometimes we don't move at all. But I want you to know that when I heard the word, the prophetic word, I move forward, and that's why we're here tonight. We have birth empowerment with Dr. Angie. Sheila Freeman Powers, thank you for watching us on tonight. There's something that God wants to deposit in you so that you can move a little further. Tara Harris, thank you for watching tonight. There is something that God is going to deposit in you on tonight so that you can move a little further. Sharon Tyson Pete, thank you for watching on tonight. There is something that God is going to deposit in you so that you can move a little further. And we are excited. Darnita, thank you so much on tonight for tuning in. I'm calling you because you're in my spirit. Dr. Patricia Williams, thank you on tonight. There is something that God is going to drop in your spirit to bring clarity and revelation on your next move. So we're excited. We're excited. Put that in the chat. I'm excited because God is going to drop something in my spirit so that I can move a step closer to what He has for me. You all know that we are, of course, celebrating International Women's Month. And I was doing a little research, and the theme for International Women's Month is celebrating women who tell our stories. I had to go back and see, did they say their story or did they say our story? But it said our story. And one of the things that I wanted to share, I want to celebrate women who have shared their story. That's right. I want to celebrate on tonight, Darlene, women who have shared their story. Hey, Darlene Northam has shared her story. She's a survivor. But I mentioned to you, we just released a book on January 31st, and these powerful women of God shared their stories. Kanisha, you have a story to share. Dr. Patricia Williams, she shared her story. Minister Zandra Sims, she shared her story. Charlene Christian shared her story. Keisha Lawrence shared her story. Vanessa Vaughn shared her story. Dewana Seward, she shared her story about abandonment. Tina Oles shared her story, how she went from riches to rag. Do you have a story that you want to share? There's some other women that we can celebrate that shared their story. Who would I be if my mom, Annie Corprew, had not shared her story? I want you to put it in the chat. Who shared their story that had an impact on your life? There's some others that shared their stories. Barbara Dewars. We all know Barbara Dewars, my 6th grade teacher. Dr. Marionette Butts, my 7th grade science teacher. R.G. Lamb, my 11th grade business teacher. All of these women shared their stories, and guess what? We were a part of them. I want you to put some names in the chat of women who impacted your life because you were a part of their story, but you also, they allowed you to share their story. A couple of other people, Dr. Valerie Brown, the former executive pastor at the Mount, she shared her story. So Pat Selden, my 5th grade teacher, shared her story. Don't let tonight go by without you putting someone's name in the chat of whose story was shared and you were a part of it. Dolores Ewers, English teacher from Deep Creek High School, who has gone on to be with the Lord. Now let me tell you, she shared her story, and when she passed, I ministered her eulogy. I was a part of her story. Put it in the chat. We're celebrating women who shared their stories because we were a part of it. I want you to put that in the chat. Name someone who shared their story, and you're better because of it. You've improved because of it, because you were a part of it. They thought enough for you. So a lot of times we talk about celebrities or we talk about people in high places, but there's some women who didn't make it to the White House. There's some women who didn't make celebrity status. I want you to write their names in the chat. Share their story if they're no longer with us. Annie Corprew, my mom, I am because of her. Because of her story, I am. So put someone in the chat to let them know that, number one, you celebrate them because you share their story and they shared their story. But you also celebrate them because you are a part of their story. That's power. I'm going to let you go ahead and take a few minutes to do that. Now, we do have some kingdom announcements on tonight. Yeah, I saw some hearts go through. Go ahead and shoot a couple of hearts while you're doing that. Celebrating women who are a part of your life or who impacted your life. So we have some kingdom announcements on tonight. I want to say thank you to everyone who came out to celebrate the book talk and signing. You celebrated the book talk and signing of Don't Curse Your Crisis. I want you to give yourselves a hand. We had standing room only at the book signing on February the 26th. Standing room only. Over 200 people showed up because they wanted to support what God had given us for the kingdom. Those women, those powerful women whose names I shared with you on tonight. I think I left out a couple of them. Jackie Grice shared her story. Kimberly Frost shared her story. So powerful. We had a wonderful time. And we want to thank all of you who showed up and said, I want to be a part of what God is doing in the kingdom. And you stepped out and came to support us. So we just want to say thank you. Now, we have some co-authors. I am so proud that we have co-authors who have now become visionary authors. That's right. Ricardo and Kimberly Frost. They have just released We Won't Quit. 10 other couples have partnered with them to write. Listen, it's a tell-all. I'm telling you, it is a tell-all. The interesting and exciting thing is, even though they told all, it was what or who brought them together, that no man could put asunder or separate it. That's it. We Won't Quit. Listen, Amazon bestseller. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Go ahead and shoot up some hearts, because we're celebrating. We're celebrating Kimberly, Minister Kimberly Frost. Of course, you know, this is International Women's Month, so we want to celebrate her, but we also want to celebrate the man who leads her, and that is her husband, Ricardo. Listen, congratulations to the best-selling authors of We Won't Quit. If you want to purchase that book, you can go online to their website and purchase it, but also go to Amazon. Continue to keep them lifted up so that they can stay in the bestseller list of 100 for Kindle. So we are excited about what they're doing in the kingdom. Now, once we go off on tonight, I don't want you to turn the channel. Stay tuned in, because they're coming on with Let's Talk About It. Strengthening couples' lives, helping couples to get through some most difficult times. That book is a tool to help other couples to say, listen, we're going through some events, some struggle right now, but we're not going to quit. Go to Amazon. You don't want to miss it. Purchase your copy. It's going to save, strengthen, and empower your marriage. And I'm sure they're going to be talking about that on tonight, or having some information about it on tonight. So stay tuned. Facebook Live and YouTube. Let's Talk About It with Kimberly and Ricardo Frost. Ricardo and Kimberly Frost. And you're going to be hearing more about them, because God is doing some phenomenal things in RFK Outreach Ministry. So let's celebrate them. And then, of course, on April the 1st, we are going to be at HP Music and Arts. We're going to be supporting autism. If you know a child or know a parent who is experiencing autism, the child is, come out on April the 1st. We're going to be at HP Music and Arts. We're going to be doing some readings from our book, Don't Curse Your Crisis. And for those of you who have not purchased that, you can also go to Amazon and pick this up. You see the book on the flyer. Make sure that if you want to purchase one, you can come to HP Music and Art. It's going to be my sister and I again, Jeanette Corprew-Cox, who is also a co-author in Don't Curse Your Crisis, but she's going to have all of her children's books. You know, I send once a month a book to my granddaughters, and that's something that you might want to get in the habit of. She has a lot of children's books. If you want to bless your child, come on out on April the 1st. HP Music and Arts. We're going to be in Chesapeake Square Mall from 1 to 3. There will be some other authors there. So if you haven't picked up your Don't Curse Your Crisis, or you want to get some children's books for your grandchildren or your children who are younger age, come out April the 1st, 1 to 3 p.m. We're going to be at HP Music and Arts. So we want to see you there. You can purchase this book at that time, or you can go to Amazon.com or go to my website, which is www.angieboydministries.org. You can purchase the book there, and we will send you a copy. You do not want to miss these powerful stories that are going to change your life. It's going to bring deliverance, and it's going to bring freedom. So we're looking for you to continue to support this powerful book. Of course, I shared with you Amazon bestsellers in 3 categories, and we are still in the top 100 of Kindle bestsellers on Amazon. So we bless God. We don't take any glory for ourselves, but we give him all the glory for what he has done. And then, of course, 2 more announcements. I'm going to be going to Alabama to support my sister. That's right, my sister, Lady Patricia McFarland. She is sponsoring a powerful women's conference, Outpour 2K23. Outpour 2K23. Now, I'm sharing this with you. It is free. The conference is free, but I want you all to get your tickets together and fly out with us. It's going to be a powerful conference, and we want you to be a part of it. I'm going to be ministering, and then, of course, Prophetess Erica Dees is going to be there. And then on Sunday morning, my sister is going to be ministering at Destiny Vision Christian Center, brand new church that has been built, and powerful leaders there where she and her husband sit under and operate in ministry together. So we're looking for you. You can go to my website as well. The flyer is there. Get your tickets. Hotel information is there. And when I say tickets, I'm talking about to fly out, but the conference is free. You don't want to miss this powerful outpour. It's going to be great. Don't miss it. I'll be ministering, and I want you to come and support us because it's going to be powerful. And then, of course, our last announcement, I don't have the flyer, but you can go to Elevation Now. One of my daughters in the ministry, Minister Linda Isaac, is going to be doing a Zoom. It's called Women, Wisdom, and Wealth. We need all three, okay? We are women. We're going to get some wisdom, and someone is going to share with us how we can get wealth. So make sure that you go to elevationnow.org, elevationnow.org, and it will let you know how you can connect on March the 18th at 10 a.m. We're going to be on a Zoom with a powerful young lady, and it's called Women, Wisdom, and Wealth. So you can make sure you go to my website, and the information is there. A lot of kingdom announcements. I always say you can be fed from different tables, but know the table that you're being fed from. And everything that I've shared with you on tonight is worth getting more wisdom on and finding out how it can propel you to victory and be better in the kingdom, to be a better servant in doing what God has called you to do. Go ahead and like, tag, and share. Let somebody else know that Empowerment with Dr. Angie is on, and their word of empowerment is about to be released. Listen, it's going to encourage you. It's going to empower you. It's going to inspire you. And I hope it will help you to share it with somebody else, because you never know how you can be a blessing to other people. If you're not on and you want them to be on the next time, mark your calendars for March the 21st. We will be back on March the 21st, Facebook Live, YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be looking for you then. Are you ready? Are you ready for your word of empowerment? Go ahead and put "I'm ready, Dr. Angie" in the chat. Put it in the chat. I'm ready for my word of empowerment. We've been talking about International Women's Month. And of course, I've got to talk about a woman of wisdom, a woman of faith, and a woman of obedience. For those of you, I'm sure everyone knows, there are only 2 books in the Bible out of the 66 that is entitled by a woman. And of course that is, well, I tell you what, someone put that in the chat. There are 2 women. You'll win some kind of prize. I don't know what it's going to be, but you'll win something. Listen, there are 2 books in the Bible named after women. Who can name both of them? Charlene's going to be looking to see who can name both those books in the Bible. And they're both in the Old Testament. Okay, Cheryl Peach Porter. Preacher, listen, I knew Cheryl would get that. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm going to send you something. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be worth those 2 answers that you gave. Okay, I see Patricia Williams has also responded. Keisha McDaniel. Cutoff is 3. All right. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, Dr. Patricia Williams, and thank you, Cheryl Peach Porter. We're going to send you some kind of prize. It's going to be good. Okay. So we have 2 books in the Old Testament, Ruth and Esther. And tonight, I want to talk about Esther. In the Bible, she's in the Old Testament of the Bible. We know a lot about her, but I want to share some information that God dropped in my spirit so that you can be better equipped when you are discovered. Woo! Okay. I'm getting excited already. You can be better equipped when you are discovered. Esther was not her original name. She had a Jewish name called Hadassah. Okay, and Hadassah meant myrtle. But when her name was changed, somebody's about to get a name change because God is about to discover you. When her name was changed, it was changed to Esther, which means star. Put that in the chat. I'm about to be a star. Really, I am a star, but I have not come into the fullness of my starness. Is that a word? Starness. Listen, when I wrote this book about Esther, I was awakened by a television show, and a preacher was preaching. And I kept hearing, you're going to be a star. I kept hearing that, you're going to be a star. And when I awakened, the preacher was talking about the book of Esther. And God said to me, I need you to begin to write because you are my star. Oh, put that in the chat. You're God's star. Regardless of what people think about you, regardless of your past, regardless of what you have not accomplished, you are still God's star. And you're about to be discovered tonight, and you're going to be ready when God calls your name. Put that in the chat. I'm ready. Lady Katrine, God said you're about to be discovered. I'm ready to be discovered. Now, in the Hebrew, when Esther was named, and we know now that Esther means star, she had a hidden identity because of what God was about to do in her life. We know that her parents were killed at an early age because of the captivity that was going on in Israel during the time. But what God did was he covered her. When there's a plan on your life and it is about to be revealed, before that time, God covers you. He protects you. And what he did for Esther, he identified and he assigned her uncle Mordecai to be her covering. Good God. Listen. You are being covered by someone that has been assigned to your future. Yeah. You are being covered by someone that God has appointed to help you in your future. That's why we have to be careful about who we push away from us. We have to be very careful about the people that we come against, because we don't know who God has assigned to bring us into discovery. We just don't know. So when we're talking about Esther, Esther had to hide her identity, her Jewish identity, because of what God was about to do in her life. Jeremiah 29:11, very familiar. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Then you will call on me and come and pray. You will seek. We've been talking about seek. Sometimes we have to seek God for the plan that he has for our lives. And he says, then you will call on me and come and seek me. Come and pray to me, and I will listen. I want you to know on tonight that you have the attention of God. I'm going to let that sink in. You have the attention of God. He said, you will come and pray, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me. God is not hiding from us on tonight because he has an assignment that he wants to release to us. God is not hiding from us on tonight because he has an appointed time for us to walk in the assignment that he has done. But guess what? He says, pray to me and I will listen to you. You have to seek him and he will listen. He is not hiding. As a matter of fact, God is waiting for you to call on him about your destiny, about your next move. I was sharing with someone on today, LaTanya. I said, I feel the shift that's about to happen. If you feel the shift, I want you to put it in the chat. Say, shift me, God. Shift me. Now, when God shifts you, I need you to be careful. When God shifts you, it's going to be away from people that you've been depending on. When God shifts you, it's going to be away from the church that you feel you're always getting God's attention. When God shifts you, you're going to be on a different playing field. You're going to be lifted in a dimension where some people cannot understand, and guess what? They're not going with you. So when you say, shift me, God, you better be ready for God to do some unprecedented, oh my God, some uncommon, some unusual things in your life. Say, shift me, God. I'm ready for the shift. And see, he said, I'm listening to you. So you need to make sure that you are ready and prepared for the shift. He said, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with, this is it, all your heart. Not half of it, but you've got to be wholeheartedly into being ready for the shift. Put it in the chat. I'm ready. I'm ready for the shift. Now listen, Esther was in a very peculiar situation. We know the story of Vashti. Vashti was called by the king to come and present herself. Now, you have to do a little bit of research on why it was that he called her, but it was her duty to obey the king. Because of her disobedience, Esther found her place of discovery. Oh, yeah. Because of her disobedience, Esther was discovered. The nugget in that is this: you don't have to go looking for your spot. You don't have to go and try to manipulate God's plan. You don't have to go and listen, you don't have to move the worship leader out of the way if you know God has called you to be the worship leader. God is going to, he is going to execute a plan just like he did with Vashti to put you right where you're supposed to be. Somebody ought to shout on that. Somebody might be in your place right now. Somebody might be in your spot right now. But God is executing a plan to shift them out of the way so that you can move in your rightful place. Come on, somebody ought to praise God, because that's what the shift is going to be. God is moving somebody out of the way to put you where you're supposed to be. They've been in there, and listen, sometimes we can overstay where we were. Because if we overstay, we're comfortable. If we overstay, we're familiar. But God is getting ready to shift somebody out of your spot so that you can be discovered. Listen, Esther 2:2 says, then the king's personal attendants proposed, let a search, write that word in the chat, let a search be made for beautiful young virgins for the king. Listen, right after Vashti was banned, right after she lost her spot as queen, they decided that the king had to have a companion. And so they sent out a search to find the most beautiful virgin. There's a search with your name on it. There's a search that somebody is looking for you. There's a spot at Norfolk State University. There's a spot at Old Dominion University. There's a spot at Christopher Newport. A desk with your name on it. There's a search going out for you. Come on. There's a search for a promotion on a job that has your name on it. You don't have to go looking for it. The attendants are coming for you. Put it in the chat. I'm excited. They're coming to look for you. That's why I tell people, what belongs to you, it belongs to you. You don't have to be jealous. You don't have to be envious. You don't have to be mad. If your name is on it, God has it just for you. Esther was minding her own business, and Mordecai heard about the search. Come on, somebody is going to call you this week because they heard your name was being placed in a search. They heard come on, that a boss wanted your expertise in computer science. I don't know who I'm talking to. They heard that you were trying to switch school systems. You were looking to leave Virginia Beach and come to Chesapeake. Listen, I'm your resource. I'm sitting there waiting for your application to come across the desk. My God. Yeah, I'm talking to somebody on tonight. Listen, you have a book in you, not a chapter. You're not a co-author. God has called you to be an author, an Amazon bestseller. There's a search out for your story tonight. But you're afraid. You don't need to be afraid, because God has already executed the plan for you to be victorious. He's already executed the plan for you to propel in the assignment that he has for you. What do I do? Where do I go? God said, you don't have to look for it. I'm searching for you. My God. Listen, he said, I'm listening to your prayer. I'm listening for you to call me. I'm listening for you to ask for direction. I'm listening for your voice. You got to get up out of whatever it is someone told you you couldn't do and defy the expectations of the enemy and say, I know I can. I know I will, because my name already is on the search. So there's a search with your name on it. God had already planned for Esther to be elevated. He had already planned for her promotion. Mordecai was her wisdom. Mordecai was her wisdom. He said, Esther, your identity has to be concealed. That's right. Your identity has to be hidden. I know I'm going to get in trouble right now. Some of us prematurely reveal ourselves. Right. Yeah. So, some of us prematurely reveal ourselves. And I'm going to tell you, to the enemy who doesn't mean you any good. Some of us don't know how to be silent. I'm going to read the scripture in a minute. We don't know how to be silent. We don't know when to be silent. Now, I know that through excitement, we want to always tell our story. But some of us are not able to handle the story yet. I'm going to let that sink in. Some of us are not able to handle, because see, you're about to be successful and you have not gone through the 12 months of purification and learn how to keep your mouth closed. That's why, listen, you've got to have somebody who has wisdom to be able to share with you when it's time. Mordecai was there for Esther. This is her uncle. You got to have somebody who believes in where you are going, but still believes in where you are now. Yeah. You got to have somebody who's not going to be jealous when your elevation comes. You've got to have somebody that wants to help you get elevated, knowing that they're going to be next. Oh, come on. Yeah. So we've got to learn how to be quiet when God is working our plan out, and we especially don't understand the plan. God will send you wisdom. God will send you wisdom to be able to help you to not broadcast your stuff on social media. Yeah, I said it. That's what I said. To not broadcast your stuff on social media. Everybody doesn't need to know that you put an application in for. Everyone does not need to know that you're finishing your last chapter of your book. Because I'm telling you, I've learned sometimes people will sabotage. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Sometimes people will try to sabotage your elevation. But tell them, baby, you don't have that kind of power. Honey, I would say, hunty, you don't know who I really am. I haven't arrived yet, but I'm on my way somewhere, because God has executed a plan to move somebody out of the way that's in my place. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear the testimonies of the unveiling, of the elevation, of the promotion that's about to come to your house. Somebody put it in the chat. My address is about to change. Come on. My address is about to change from chaos to peace. My address is about to change from rejection to accepted. My address is about to change. Because there's a search out for me right now to what God has promised me. Some of us have discounted ourselves of who we are right now. You got to love you for who you are. I know you haven't arrived. I know you might still be dealing with some childhood trauma, but still love who you are. Sometimes people make you feel discounted. You know why? Because they want to be the brightest light in the circle. Okay. I'm going to check out your circle. If they're the one that's always shining bright, then you need to change your circle. Now, this is a part of getting ready for the shift, because they're not going to be able to handle you when you shift to elevation. If they're the one in the circle whose light has to always shine, you got to always say something to them. You got to always make them feel good. You got to always listen to them. And you don't have any wisdom to share, you need to change your circle. And as a matter of fact, listen, it's going to change when they find out that the search is out for them, for you and not them. Okay, I'm going to move on. You've got to like who you are right now, even though there have been some things that happened in your life. And when you get to the place of promotion, when you get to the palace, when you get where God has assigned you, when Mordecai has helped you, first of all, don't forget your Mordecais. Don't forget the people who gave you wisdom. Don't forget the people who prayed for you when you couldn't pray for yourself. Don't forget the people who walked with you when nobody else wanted to walk with you. Don't forget those people whose stories have impacted your life. Esther 4:14. This is a lesson to learn. For if you remain completely silent at this time. This was after Esther had gotten into the palace. This was after her wisdom had pushed her. This was after her wisdom heard about the search and put her name in the hat. Come on, somebody. After somebody recommends you for the job and you get it. After somebody recommends you for a house and you get it. After and you get what it is God has assigned to you. Because God will use other people to help you get to where you're going. Put it in the chat. Don't forget the wisdom. Don't forget the people that helped you get to where you are. God assigned them to help you get there. It says, Mordecai said to Esther, for if you remain completely silent at this time, if you don't say anything, if you keep, now see, like I said, sometimes we don't know when to talk and we don't know when to be quiet. This is the time to talk when your assignment is brought before you. This is the time to talk when you realize what it is God has called you to do and where you are. She was in the palace. He said, Esther, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. Now, I don't know about you. I don't want to get all the way to the palace and then I overlook what God told me to do. I don't want to get all the way to the promotion, get the position, and can't help anybody else get there too. I don't want to get to the place where God is displeased with me making a decision on why he put me in the place at the first time. He says, well, it doesn't have to come to you. Now you need to understand this. God will use someone else to make it happen. I'm not saying he's going to take away the assignment that he gave to you, but if you don't talk, if you don't speak up, his purpose is far greater than you not speaking. Yeah. He says, but you and your father's house will perish. If you don't operate in your assignment, if you don't operate in your anointing, if you don't operate in your gifting, the reason that I put you in the palace, don't worry. God's promise for the Jews is still going to come into fruition. It's still going to be manifested. You need to understand that you are not so powerful that the hand of God will not move on somebody else's life. I'm a clap on that myself. If you decide that you want to abort your assignment, if you decide that you want to sit on your purpose, if you decide that you're not going to operate and execute what God spoke to you to do, then guess what? It's still going to happen because he is still God. Oh, yeah, it's still going to happen. And what's going to happen is you're going to lose. You and your family will perish. I'm just telling you what the word of God says in Esther 4:14. He said, yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Very, very popular. People always say that, but do you really know what it means? For a moment, Esther was going to keep quiet. For a moment, she had a little amnesia. For a moment, there was some fear. For a moment, there was some trepidation. You know how we are when we are about to be elevated and we don't want people to know. We get a little fearful because we're like, well, what's people going to say? Stop being concerned about what people say when you're the chosen one. Stop being concerned about how they're going to treat you when you're the chosen one. Stop getting in your spirit that they may stop talking to you when you're elevated. That's fine. Let that relationship be severed. Because if they're not happy for you, then guess what? You ought to want to sever the relationship in the first place. But Esther had a little fear, because she did not know how people were going to respond to her. I'm just trying to tell you where we are sometimes when success knocks at our door. That's why it took 12 months of purification to prepare not just her body, but God wants to prepare your mind in the shift so that your mind can catch up with the promotion he is about to hand over to you. Somebody ought to put it in the chat. I'm about to be promoted. I'm about to be revealed. Discovery has come to my address. With all that she had gone through, I know you probably say, God, you mean to tell me that being an orphan is a part of my plan? You mean to tell me that being a divorcee is part of my plan? You mean to tell me that even though rejection came knocking at my door, it's a part of my plan? You mean to tell me being disappointed in high school and in college is a part of my plan? You mean to tell me that abandonment is a part of my plan? You mean to tell me, God, that being talked about, ostracized, and an outcast is part of my plan? You mean to tell me being dejected is a part of my plan? That's what God means to tell you on tonight. That Esther went through trauma, but it was a part of God's plan for her promotion. It was a part of God's plan for her to be discovered. I want to tell you on tonight, don't sabotage your plan by talking too soon. There's a search going out just for you. And God is listening to your prayer. God is attent to your need and your desire, because he placed that desire in you to want more, to want better, to improve, but to also be in your rightful place. What is Esther telling you on today? Whatever it is you're going through right now, it's not going to stop the hand and the plan of God. You're his star. And you've got to understand that whatever it is you've gone through, it's not going to stop. You may have gone through some lessons learned. Some people call them failures. But God's going to use that thing for your good. You may have gone through some disappointments, but God's going to use that thing for your good. There's a Mordecai waiting to push you up. There's a Mordecai waiting to help you to move to the next level. Yeah, I said it. There's a Mordecai that has those decree papers that went out in the land, and he's trying to find you to present them to you. And guess what? You can bring all that stuff with you. Esther brought it with her. She was orphaned. Esther brought it with her. She had been rejected. Esther brought it with her. But thank God for consecration. Thank God that he put those eunuchs in place, those attendants in place, and said, Lucrece, I know what you've been through. We're going to purify you. We're going to pray for you. We're going to release the power that God has for you, so that when the time comes for the shift, come on, when the time comes for you to get in your rightful place, I don't care if there are 99 women that came to the pageant. I'm going to call it a pageant. I don't care how many women are in front of you. That spot of Queen of Persia has your name on it. That promotion has your name on it. That worship leader spot has your name on it. That Boaz that you've seen and you know God spoke to you and said, that man belongs to you. Fret not thyself of evildoers. I don't care who comes against you. God said there's a search, and he's going to know the rib, come on, that belongs to him. I don't care what is going on in your life. God's going to give you a time of consecration, a time of purification. And the people that have been assigned to you are going to see your heart, and they're going to know this must be the one that God has sent. The star in you is about to be unveiled. All you have to do is listen for the name change. Come on, somebody. Listen for the name change. Bring it all with you. God's going to consecrate. Come on. He's going to separate you because he knows that he is unveiling your purpose. This is your time. This is Chronos time. This is Kairos time. It is your appointed time to be unveiled, to be revealed, and still be covered by the power of God. Your word of empowerment, Esther, meaning I am a star. Stars, get ready to be revealed. Get ready for the shift, because it's coming to knock at your door. Until March 21st, walk in your stardom, walk in your newness. The old has passed away and the new has become a star. Until next time, walk in your starness. God has discovered you. I love you until the next time. See you March 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern, Facebook Live and YouTube.